Double kill! Yeah! No, 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 no. Just come in, bitches. Oh, 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 right. Anyway, so you want to know the awkward love triangle I'm in? Okay. So, I was dating this one person, and then, like, I was on this one website, and I'm talking to this other person, and then I was like, so, how are you? Are you finding anybody yet? And the person's like, oh yeah, but I don't. They're kind of busy with someone else. I'm like, oh that sucks. Oh, I have mail. I have mail. You've got mail. Yeah, so like we were talking about like who I was dating and blah 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 blah, and then yeah, and then I was like, well, who are you looking for anyone or like do you already have them? Do you already have someone? Blah blah blah. Just trying to be nice and shit. And he's like, oh yeah, I found somebody, but they're already kind of dating somebody else. I'm like, oh that sucks. And I was like, oh okay. And he goes on to say like, oh yeah, he's an awesome guitar player, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, hold on a second, because like earlier he told me that the person went to the same school as him, which was Chicago. And I was like, oh, that's the person I'm dating is really good at guitar. And goes, I'm like, oh. And I was like, so who, may I ask, like, what the person's name is? And they tell me the name. I'm like, well, fuck. that's that's who I'm dating. And then like, and then he goes on and goes like, wait, what? He's gay? I'm like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh fuck, is that a dog? Whoa. Okay. So it was like running in my direction. I was like, ah, fuck, shoot it. Anyways, it's like I go on to like say like, oh, really? And then that kind of happens, and then like he starts talking, and it's like really weird. Oh god. Ah. Anyways, hold on. Okay, so I was talking about like how we're talking about the same person, and then like he started like tell it because none of them knew that both of them were gay. They've been like friends for years apparently. So I was like, this is really awkward. So like, and apparently like, then like he starts like talking to them separately, and then like they start talking, and then like that kid, the kid who I was talking to, starts talking, and then they start talking about like how they like each other, blah blah, how they're both gay, blah blah blah, and then just and then apparently like he's like the person I'm dating is like, oh, I might break up with him, you know, whatever. And, like this is the other guy telling me, so like I'm not like getting this from like the straight source. So I was kind of like skeptical, and I was like, oh really? So, like I actually started talking to myself just to make sure, because I don't like it when people lie to me and shit. I don't like it. Ah, talking to Claymore. Anyways, so like I was kind of skeptical, so I started talking to myself. So like I was like, do you know this? Do you know a kid named? And he's like, yeah, he's like my BFF. And I'm like, oh really? Um, funny you should say that. I've been talking to him. He's like, oh really? I'm like, yeah. He told me that you might want to break up with me. It's like, oh that bastard. I want to tell you in person. I'm like, oh. Oh, grenades. Okay. Anyways, so like, I'm like, oh, that sucks. So I'm like, oh man. So then like I'm like being all nice and like, well, like trying to like push them together because obviously he's not gonna stick with me because he has a best friend person. So I'm like, ah, fuck. And then I'm too nice. I can't fight for anything. I am like the worst at that. I just can't. I will be forever alone. I plan on it, kind of. So, like, I continue on, and, like, I start talking, like, me and this other guy are still talking. Me and, um, that's his name. And I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was being, like, really nice. I was like, yeah, you know, like, what would you do if he does break up with me? This is before, like, I talked to him. And he's like, oh, I'd probably try to date him, blah, blah, blah. Now that we all, you know, we both came out to each other and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's such a good story. A whore. You goddamn whore. I was like, oh my god, it's so hard to be nice right now. I'm not gonna be like, fuck you, you can't do that. It's, I don't know. I can't be mean. It really suck at being mean. Well, no, I mean, like, he wanted to go out with that kid instead. Oh yeah, this is the weird part. So I was like, yeah, that's, I understand. And, I was like, I guess you're not getting your Christmas. I got him a Christmas gift. I got I got it at Spencer's. Oh, it's nothing like really bad. It's like a little book thing. Ah, it's not porn. Calm down. It could be in the form of porn. I could have made a porn. I love that porn. I wish I could find love. I'm gonna hack this turret. It shall be mine, and that shall be my squishy. Where'd it go? You destroyed it, you bitch! Oh, oh, oh. I know it wasn't you. It was that bitch. Exactly. But yeah. So like, oh my god. So like, he made me a. Okay, this is the weird part. He made me a song. He's like really good at guitar, and he made me a song with lyrics and shit. And like, yeah, so I was like, because like after we officially broke up, I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do with your Christmas present anymore. And I'm like, um, I guess I just won't give it to you. I'll probably just like throw it away. He's like, well, what is it? I'm like, you don't get to know. And then he's like, well, you don't get your song. And I'm like, I really don't want it. I was like, I really don't care. Because, honestly, no, well, no, let me just say, he just sent me the lyrics eventually. And I was like, I really did not want to know this song. I really didn't want it. And he's like, why? And I'm like, it hurts me too much. I was being really dramatic. Because I really didn't want it. Like, nobody gives me anything. Well, no, it was good. It was just the fact that we're not together anymore, and he gave me a song, and I'm like, I don't want this. Bad memory. I mean, I just don't want it. But it's just the fact that I didn't want it, and he kept sending it to me. Yeah. Anyways, so back to like the love triangle thing. I I I don't fight at all. I'm very bad at that. So I was like, I was like pushing them together. It was, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Fuck. So I was like, cause like, oh, hold on, what was I saying? But yeah, okay, yeah, he started crying when he like, oh my god, he's like, I'm crying right now. I'm like, really? You're crying? Like, cause like when he, cause like I had him tell me that he wanted to break up with me. It's like I had him tell me that he was gonna break up with me. So he's like, I'm crying right now. I'm like, um, yeah, you don't. You really shouldn't be crying right now. Oh my god, it was like, what the fuck? Like, you're not even the one getting hurt at the moment. But you will. Soon. Very soon. But, yeah. I was like, yeah, the other guy speaks highly of you, blah, blah, blah. You guys are probably gonna date. And I was like, and I was like, you know, there's always room for a sexy threesome later. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not, I'm not joking. He's like, oh, haha. And he's like, yeah, that probably won't happen. I'm like, why? And he's like, I just want to be me and him. I'm like, you fucking whore. I didn't say that, but I was like, okay. I just think it's kind of ridiculous how he was all about, like, me being like, oh, you're so cool, Ryan. I'm like, yeah, I know. But, I mean, not exactly like that, but similar to that. And then all of a sudden, you know, I get dumped. But, like, okay, so, like, I was talking to the one guy, and cause like I was talking to him earlier, and then I told him like that I already had a boyfriend. He was like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, he didn't talk to me for a while. I messaged him back like a couple times saying like, "Oh, well, you don't want to talk to me anymore just because I have a boyfriend? You can't be like, you can't just talk." He's like, "No." And like somehow I got him to keep talking to me, and it was I'm like, I'm good, I'm good. And then somehow, and I was like, he was like asking me about my boyfriend and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, blah blah. We like just met like a couple weeks ago. Um, he's into music, and so am I. That's really the only thing we know about each other so far. And then, um, yeah. So then I was like, yeah. So, um, what about you? Are you finding anybody? He's like, no, I have no, but I do have my eyes on this one guy. But he said that he's already in a relationship at the moment. And I was like, because earlier he told me that he goes, and so does my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend. So I was like, huh. So I was getting like a little suspicious. I was like, huh. Like I only know like I know one other person that's gay that goes. So I'm sure there's like millions of them over there, but whatever. um, I was like, So then, like, I go on, and he goes on, like, talking about him, like, yeah, he's, you know, into music, and he does, plays really awesome guitar. I'm like, oh, shit, I know somebody who plays really awesome guitar. And I know he goes, I'm like, fuck. And I was like, oh, I'm like, well, I was like, so, what's his name? And he's like, I can't tell you because he's not out yet. And I'm like, I'm like, is it? And he's like, oh my gosh, yes. And he's like, and then he was like talking, and he's like, is he trying to like have two boyfriends or something? Like, what up? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And then I was like, I was like kind of like freaking out a little bit. I was like, what? What's going on? What are the odds of me meeting, like, of me talking to this guy who knows this guy? Like, I mean, like, what are the odds? Like, of all people. Like, that just happened. I'm like, what the fuck? So then the love triangle started. I'm like, fuck. It's a very awkward thing.